Welcome, Madridistas. How are you? I might look a bit off since I just got back from the Bernabéu. Earlier, I said there wouldn't be a live stream, only a video, so thanks for waiting. It was supposed to come out a bit late, but it ended up being even later because when I got home to make the video, I lost Wi-Fi and everything crashed. And I know some of you will say in the comments, pay for it. And believe me, I do pay for the Wi-Fi. I really do. I don't know what happened, but it looks like it's going to last a few hours. So I'm just uploading it here as best I can. Let's see, maybe this is less interesting to you, of course, about the match itself, what I saw at the Bernabéu. And that's why I have Arbeloa in the picture. Later, towards the end of this video, we're going to talk about Arbeloa, referring to some of his players one way and others another way. The thing with Carvajal really caught my attention, honestly. I was listening to it on the radio, and it really caught my attention because the affection he shows to some, and he does it well. Look, as the coach of Real Madrid, he does very well to defend Benitez. We're going to hear from him now, to defend Camavinga. For me, there are things that are indefensible, like Jude Bellingham, I don't know what, and Carvajal more dry and colder because of the national team issue. Everything has its nuances. Also, Spanish journalists asking him, so is Arbeloa speaking for the club now? But if there's a personal issue, which I used to think there wasn't, I think it's becoming clearer and clearer that there is. But anyway, listen, the match, and let's go quickly with this. It was a mess. Suddenly, Thiago Pitar isn't good enough for us anymore because now that the sacred cows are back, the kid isn't good enough. Guler substituted as always. In this case, it was even earlier. In the 56th minute, I think it was before the 60th. The Bernabéu was frozen. By the way, I went to the Bernabéu with the winner of the giveaway we did a while ago already on my website on Miguel Serrano TV, which serves as the membership site for this YouTube channel. Although it was late, the prize arrived. So we'll do another giveaway later to go see a match, most likely next season, because, well, what's left at the Bernabéu is going to be tough. Hey, if Barca ties tomorrow, I don't know, which isn't going to happen, but I don't know. I mean, maybe there's still a title race, but come on, it's going to be impossible. For me, what I experienced today at the stadium was a really cold reaction toward the team, the worst attendance of the season. But also then, of course, Barca starts showing off, doing tricks, scoring their goal. Today, it turns out they scored, right? Today, they were accurate. And about the tricks, well, look, they're just really good. They're really good. I was just telling Antonio, who won today's raffle with me and came all the way from Tenerife. The man, you see, deserves credit. The man came to watch the match. I was telling him that. I said, he's so good. It's really frustrating, really. He and Vinicius are so good. It's frustrating to be in the situation we're in. Why? Because I don't want to keep harping on the fact that two such good players sometimes play so badly. Football has changed in the collective sense, which is what mattered to us. I've already discussed this many times. I don't want to dwell on it. Let's move to what I want to discuss. Anyway, it was a typical Madrid match. Militao got injured, but I don't think it's serious. The scare at the end, of course. How could you not give everyone a scare at the end when the match seems like one you have under control? And so on. How could you not give people that feeling, that scare at the Bernabéu? Come on, please. Alaves is the second year in a row we've done something like this with them. Last year, when we were up by 3-0 with Bring on Vallejo, well, they scored 2 and ended up just 1 behind. And some scored 1 and ended up just 1 behind 2, which is good. The feeling wasn't the same as last year when the match was incredible. But anyway, people leave feeling cold and they've been asked about it. Press conference. This happened a little while ago about Vinicius. And he said, I'm going to do this in a bit of a rudimentary way. You'll have to forgive me because I also have to tell you something, and I'll tell you very quickly. Today, Madrid. The other day, I showed the image of Arbeloa, but from the AS newspaper, from AS's independent camera feed at the press conference before this match. And what do you think happened? Real Madrid demonetized my video, but I said that can't be. It's different if I use the Real Madrid TV feed, which you can hear there. I imagine it, and honestly, I don't like when they do it. I don't think Barca does it with their YouTubers, but Madrid does it with us, so that's that. A fight that, as you know, I've been dealing with for a while. But now, even when you take the feed from Diario AS or Diario Marca, no, it's unbelievable. And so, well, I'm informed and based on what they say. And Madrid is perfectly within their rights, but I think they're doing it right. The truth is, everything the players and footballers of Real Madrid do and everything from Real Madrid matters. Even if another camera catches it. If another camera catches it, sorry, and another outlet, excuse the absurdity, Madrid wants to exploit and monetize everything. And well, they have the right, they're within their rights. But just so you know, from experience, that's fine. I think people, let's see, I was saying this about Vinny. They asked him about the booing.
Because of the relationship Vinicius currently has with the Bernabéu, after the elimination against Bayern, today he was one of the ones who got booed, then he apologized. How did it get to this point and how can it be fixed?
Well, it's not the first time this has happened to us, and I think it's been proven over many years. But as I always say, in recent months, how has he been able to recover, as Vinicius has always done, making a great effort in moments when we've had very complicated situations, and he's been able to carry the team on his back. Today, well, it's what I always say, we can't deny his attitude. He always wants more, keeps trying, and never hides. I think he has tremendous courage. Well, I think he's a great Madridista. He really cares about the badge and the shirt, so I'm glad when the crowd rewards him with applause, which is always what I hope for from this relationship.
Okay, that's very good. I mean, he stands up for his player, and then he'll do the same with Camavinga and with June Bailey and so on. It's very good as a coach. It's very good. It's very good. Great Madridista. That's very good. Everything he adds is fantastically good. But watch out. That question is picked up by the journalist Miguel Angel Diaz from the Cope Radio Network, Miguelito, and he says to him, watch out with the another great Madridista comment. So that's when Arbeloa starts to change his expression.
Hello, Álvaro. Good evening. Miguel Ángel Díaz live on El Partidazo de Cope. I wanted to ask you about another great Madridista who's having a bit of a tough end to the season. I'm talking about Carvajal, who's also fighting for a spot on De La Fuente's list for the World Cup. I wanted to ask you if a Real Madrid coach in the situation you're in can stop to think about that. If you can also help Carvajal to keep growing, try to make sure he finishes the season with more minutes, or if you focus on other things.
I have 20 or 23 players, and I think any Real Madrid player has a chance to go to the World Cup. And if you allow me, I'm going to focus on what's best for my team.
Does he have the right as a coach to say that? In fact, isn't he saying something all that far from what a responsible coach should say? All right. Hey, he's just another one, but you've been praising and treating Vinicius with a lot of affection, so treat Camavinga with the same affection, okay? Someone booed by the Bernabéu, like now we're talking about the booing of Vinicius, by the way, which I thought was disgraceful, you know? I have to say that I thought it was a shame. I was telling Antonio and this guy, I mean, how is it possible? Come on, but we haven't moved on from that. Even though we think what happened with Xavi was a shame, etc., seriously, are we really going to boo Vinicius now? The other day, Vinicius didn't play well, like many players in this tie against Bayern. There were others who did better, but then when Vinicius was injured, Vinicius was much better, and many goals came from his boots. In terms of assists and goals, and wow, it seemed really unfair to me, so much so that Vinicius has apologized. He must have felt strongly to apologize, which is a good thing, right? I don't know how many things he's apologized for, whether it's because of that thing with Xavi or for other things, I don't know. But the fact is that he has apologized. That's good. Well, nice words, beautiful words for him. What can't happen is that now he comes with Carvajal and it's as if he's talking about me. Carvajal is the captain, a 6-time Champions League winner and a Real Madrid legend. Hey, I mean, show a little affection. You can say the same thing, but with some affection for Carvajal, like saying, but he's a winner. He's a guy who, you know, highlight his professionalism, his whatever. If you don't say it for personal reasons, we all understand, but it's a shame. Someone said, right? Back in the day when Carvajal came in, he took Arbeloa's spot. I don't know if it's because of that, or maybe it's because Carvajal didn't behave well. I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know. Some people have it out for Carvajal, and they say, yes, that he's been a bad captain, that no, well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't have that much information from inside the Madrid camp, but it really seems like it's a personal issue. And, well, I mean, come on. To me, I think it's a disgrace what the Bernabéu did to Vinicius, and I think it's a disgrace what Arbeloa did to Carvajal. I don't take sides with anyone here. The same goes for Arbeloa. The other day, in the press conferences he's given, I thought he did well in certain things, but in this, not so much. A real lack of tact, especially when you just finished talking like that about his other teammates. And when it comes to Carvajal, I would say, hey, Ceballos, well, he deserves all the respect too. I think everyone deserves respect, but Carvajal, does Ibai say that? I'll also tell you, that's why nuances matter. Arbeloa knows what the situation is and he knows the media. the press. And so, look, the Spanish journalist who's going to ask me about him because he's also a friend of Carvajal or has been following him for a long time, and so on, like Miguelito, who also reports on La Roja, the Spanish national team, this thing that Spanish journalists have about wanting to see Carvajal specifically. Likewise, Dani himself may have fueled that whole debate through his relationship with the journalists. And Arbeloa, when he sees all that coming, well, he responds sharply. He responds sharply because it's a topic he doesn't feel like talking about. Now, if it were another footballer, even if it bothered him that Spanish journalists asked him about that topic, which doesn't matter to him at all, in theory, maybe he would say something else. But that's where we don't really know what the specific personal relationship between Carvajal and Arbeloa is. And it certainly doesn't seem good. It really doesn't seem good. Anyway, I know that for many of you, the topic of the national team is a non-issue. And there are even people who have Carvajal in their sights. But I don't think that's the way to treat a great captain and a legend like Carvajal. But anyway, but just look at how he talks about Camavinga.
This is Alberto Pedrero live for Radio Estadio Noche on Onda Cero. I wanted to ask about Camavinga's situation. You discussed it yesterday, and it's been tough, especially after the referee's recent call. I'm wondering how you saw the Bernabeu's response today, and if you can share how he's doing emotionally, given he's nearing season's end, focused mainly on the league.
Good, very good. I think he's back on the field playing, helping the team, which is what he wants. He's a player with a lot of personality, and despite his youth, he has great experience. And whenever I need him, like today, he'll go out onto the field. As I've always said, I think that during these months, he's been an important player who has always gotten minutes, whether starting or coming on in the second half. And just like Vinny, they're guys who arrived at Real Madrid very young and have already achieved a lot in just a few years. Many important titles. And as I've said before about Camavinga, I think he has the confidence of his coach, the whole club, and I'm sure the fans too.
Well, the fans haven't shown him today. I thought all the whistling at Camavinga was a bit too much, or at least even louder than for Vinicius. But you see how he indulges Camavinga right in front of everyone. To be honest, and just so you see that, I noticed the details too. What Miguelito asked him about Carvajal is very specific. A coach has to be aware of that, he says, right? But that doesn't mean that if you're piling up praise for your players, damn, in this case, right? You give some to Carvajal for being Carvajal. But anyway, I also think that athletically, the same goes for Alexander-Arnold. He's also taking a risk with England. Maybe he won't go to the World Cup because I think he hasn't been called up. He wasn't called up in the new 35-player list. And of course, he'll say, hey, I also want my spot here, even though the most important thing is the club, right? That's the team, the club that's paying you right now. But I think that from a footballing standpoint, Carvajal could contribute in these 7 matches. We'll have to see. Anyway, hope everything goes well for you. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Hopefully my internet will be back in a few hours to make a proper video tomorrow morning. All right, bye.